Good morning, everybody. This is our astrology weather forecast for June 9th, 2025. And there is a buttload of stuff going on today. There's a lot of layers, and Jupiter changes signs into Cancer. Alrighty, let's break it down. So the moon does come into Sagittarius at 8. I don't know, it goes void. Yeah, what about 8 a.m.? 8:07. Comes into Sagittarius at 10:56 a.m. So it does form an aspect to Uranus, like super early today. Well, depending on where you live. And then things come into more of a undercurrent of exploration rather than of intensity or of it's like this crescendo. Um, Actually, sleeping last night may not have been that easy with that coupling of Moon in Scorpio and then that opposition, coming up to that opposition to Uranus. Hey, Michael. Hey, FG. Okay, so I'll talk about Jupiter and Cancer at the end here. We'll wrap it up. And I'm probably going to have to try to pop in today and talk about that specifically. That will be going on until next June. So, first thing, Mercury in a hard aspect, both to Saturn and then to Neptune. We've had a lot of Mercury going on. So, we've got a square first from Mercury to Saturn, then really immediately thereafter, a square from Mercury to Neptune. They're close enough to be a train of energies. So normally I would break it down, you know, separately. And there is some of that. I mean, we'll have the reticence of Mercury in a square to Saturn, and then the confusion coming in of Mercury in a square to Neptune. So we see things pessimistically, and then we switch and come to more of an idealistic outlook. So it's one of those days where you can feel like, oh, it's just, it's all no's everywhere. And then it's like, but there's also possibility. And so it's a strange influence because Saturn and Neptune really don't have a, cohesive language between the two of them. So it's kind of this herky-jerky effect regarding how we're going to solve our problems and what our everyday possibilities are. And then we come more into an evening effect. Like it evens out as the two, like as Mercury gets to the middle degrees and then past the two of them, they become more like a mix of Saturn and Neptune. So that's where we have confusion, because then we're going to have um, that herky-jerky effect, either or. Is it negative or positive? That coming into it, I don't know. So the clouds and the ground, that's where we kind of exist between when it's all said and done. It's not the best day to make consequential decisions. It's not the best day to um, commit to something because there will be more clarity and better assessment of things that comes in. But it can be a day where we think that we know things, that we may not have the best arguments actually for, haven't really consulted the best sources. Um, Mercury in a square to either Saturn or Neptune does represent some type of shortcut or problem that we're dealing with. So it's a better day to talk. If we really don't know something, like factually know it, it's a better day to remember to talk more in the vein of exploration or possibilities. You're being open to things rather than with a total confidence that can kind of be a little embarrassing later. The other thing going on, we've got a square from Venus to Pluto, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, what we want and prefer and how we love comes into conflict with what we're afraid of, what we don't want to let go of, what we feel like we need to keep. And so it brings the loving preferential side of ourself to the clinging beastly side of ourself, and we're going to have to figure out how to find solutions to problems where we don't end up like tightening our grip. That's our solution when we have Pluto issues to personal planets. Oh, I don't want to lose you. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, I'm so attracted to you. Oh, you're such a value to have in my life. Let me find ways of keeping that are shortcuts born out of fear. Right, that's our solution. I'll find a way to keep you in, some way. Either I'll Casanova you, or I'll scare you, or I'll use my trauma as a way to make you feel like you feel sorry for me, or I have this malady, and how could you ever leave a sick person? These kinds of things. And we really have to examine, if that's what I'm receiving, or if that's what I'm giving, is that actually an expression of love? Or am I actually behaving in a way that's more indicating hatred or contempt? What is the outcome? What is it that I'm trying to get? And what am I doing? What is the outcome? This is square thinking. What do I want? See, that's where we're going. What am I doing? That's the current problem. And what is it that I think I'm going to get? Based on what I'm doing. Because with squares, we're waiting for, circumstances or outside forces to change. And then, we can move forward. But we have to develop the character and the strength and the willpower to adjust our own way of thinking and way of being and what we're not prepared for. Because we're not prepared for what it is that we want based on the past, where we're coming from with squares. So to look at, all right, if that's what I want, if that's the kind of relationship, income, artistic expression, like Venus stuff, right? That's what I want. And if this is what I'm doing, what is going to be the result? And instead of stamping our feet and saying, I'm going to wait until mountains move, we have to move. We have to be the one that expends the energy instead of the outside world. So, yeah, we try to move mountains with squares until we realize it's our own mountain of bullshit. That must be moved out of the way. Wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow. Other thing going on, we've got the trine. The trine between Mars and Chiron. This can make it a little bit easier to deal with carting away that mountain of bullshit. Wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow. It actually can make it a lot easier with Mars Chiron trines because there's more of a willingness, a willfully contributing a big fraction of our life force to healing in ways that take us beyond the immediacy of the anger of the id. So we aren't taking things as personally, and it opens us up to recognizing what's going on in the moment and choosing to heal from it rather than close up, um, rather than fold up on ourselves. So there's like a bravery that's marking the day that can just make it easier to put our shoulder to the wheel regarding healing our own stuff, because we can recognize that that's empowerment. That's where it's at, is dealing with things in our own yard, dealing with things at home. So I have a saying: people can put crap in your cup, but you don't have to drink it. And today it's easy to just push that away, the Mars Chiron trine, because we realize it's probably more poison. I think I'll drink water instead. All right, guys. I'll try to check in with you later. Have a good day.